Thanks for stopping by. This is Hard Basis. I am Clint Allen. What you are about to see, I am giving you an official warning. Some people may not be able to handle these new videos that just came out. Also, join the community if you don't want to see the same dribble that every other YouTuber puts out. This is a reaction channel. Let's get going here. Probably one of the best shots that I've seen so far. Now, let's see if you get an understanding here, and I've got a whole bunch more. We'll get to it real quick. We had two quakes, one where the ground did this. Another one where the ground did this. Two quakes right behind each other. This one right here was the quake where the ground was moving back and forth like this. You see in the background the buildings dropping, probably back up again, and I want you to pay particular close to the people who are trying to walk. If you ever thought, oh well, you know, earthquake, no big deal, you can just keep on driving, you can keep on walking, whatever the case may be, no. These people are literally thrown to the ground. Some of the videos that you might have seen from Venezuela where the people are filming in their house, that building is taking up that movement, whether it's up and down or back and forth, which means that building is on the verge of failing. Anybody who is living in Venezuela who is right on that shifting fault, that building is going to be deemed unlivable, because it took up that shock. These buildings were not designed for this, even though they knew they were building buildings, high-rise apartment buildings, high-rise buildings, on where three fault lines come through. We as humans are just stupid sometimes. I'm going to let these next ones play out all the way through here. There's some hard-hitting stuff here, okay?
Look at it.
Guys, look. You guys. Yeah, look how all the walls in the front fell down. This is shocking. People. Huh?
Falling down like this.
Hey.
"45 seconds. Things broke. Yeah. Very good.
Shaking sun. It's shaking. It's shaking. Come on, what do we have outside? It's not coming out of there, bro. It wouldn't be more dangerous, bro. Over there, gentlemen. 8-4. Over there. Look how the Makeri airport was left while we were here. Look at the disaster. Completely destroyed. Look after the earthquake. Look how everything was left, gentlemen. The situation we're experiencing here is serious. High magnitude earthquake. Look how everything was left. You can see, I recorded it. At the time of the earthquake, I recorded everything. We helped get people out too. Look how the roof is. Everything was destroyed. Everything was destroyed. Look, Makeri Airport. It's good that the authorities are calling to protect a lot of things here. Look at this mess. This is Mike Tia. The elevators, where are they? Look, here we all are. So, we're going to broadcast from this moment.
Shaking? You're shaking? Oh no.
My God, I wasn't.
Subscribe.
You know, we're surrounded by so much news, media, and numbing down, not dumbing down. Well, that's part of it too, but numbing down. Some people don't really realize the gravity of this. I mean, we're you know, some reports are saying, well, hundreds or thousands are you know, presumed missing and dead. We're beyond the little figure of 100 and thousands. Way beyond that. We have structures that have completely collapsed with people in it. Some of these places house more than 100 people. This is just absolutely heartbreaking. This right here, this next one right here, has got a lot of gravity to it. Imagine losing your family.
In La Guaira, help is scarce, but grief is everywhere. They've just received the news they feared. Their vigil is over, but their mourning has just begun. Juliana has been here for days trying to trace her 18-year-old sister, who was on the 9th floor. Despite her social media posts, there's been no trace.
Like I said, put yourself in those shoes, okay? You always hold out that hope. A complete building collapse, and you're hoping that your loved one was lucky enough to get in an area where kind of things got wedged and they didn't get squished. Put yourself in that.
No tengo alguna señal o alguna información de ella que me indique que si está, apareció una data del hospital donde dice su nombre, pero no sabemos ni qué hospital es ni algo que me asegure que ella esté con vida o esté en algún sitio.
Tower blocks have been skittled into a vast tangle of rubble. Where do you begin amid all this?
This is the heart of this rescue operation, and you can see this debris field stretches all the way over there to that damaged building on the other side. There were dozens of apartment blocks here which have come down and been completely flattened, each containing potentially hundreds of people.
So let me give you some scope on this real quick before we continue. 58,000. 58000 buildings collapsed or damaged past livability in Venezuela in 2 short quakes. And wait to the end. You're going to get sick to your stomach on what the government, the government of Venezuela, pretty much all governments throughout the world, with their frickin' corruption and fraud. And now there's no money for help.
I think now they have given up hope of finding anyone here alive, but they have not given up trying to recover the dead.
As we film, a team of volunteers finds a body. Carefully, it's brought down for identification. There are no body bags here, just a carpet. 19-year-old Mauricio Chavez Chino has been trying to find his brother Jason. A glance at the remains is enough to confirm what he's dreaded.
El primer día me tocó venirme corriendo, yo estaba en el trabajo y me vine corriendo, después no encontré nada, me devolví, busqué algún lugar donde dormí hasta hoy que me dijeron que lo habían encontrado.
So they have been searching here how long? When did they arrive?
They started 2 hours ago.
Gonzalo Monterrey is one of those still looking for answers. His sister Estrella was in this apartment block trying to flee when the second quake flattened it.
She started going down the stairs, but the second floor, the building collapsed, and she's there. I went to all of these buildings looking for my sister, and well, sadly, nothing.
Do you have any hope that your sister could still be alive?
No, not at all. She's in the middle of the building, and that's it.
I'm really sorry.
No.
Suddenly, the men think they've seen something.
And now the finger pointing has started already. We're not flat out of this even a short period of time, basically a few days. Finger pointing has already started. Poor concrete, poor buildings, bad, design, whatever the case may be. All the finger pointing is going on now. Once again, we are, human beings just do not think through all full scopes. Building these buildings, the side of these buildings, on multiple fault lines. Let me remind you that prehistoric rock-built buildings, even back then, 10,000, 20, 30,000 years ago, and before that, these people built rock houses, basically, knowing that they had earthquake problems. And to this day, they have stood the test of time. And we come in, supposedly smarter, and build stuff that can't take earthquakes. And then we build it right on a fault line.
I'm going to identify a body.
Gonzalo rushes to look.
Pantalón. ¿Tiene pantalón?
Any item of clothing is a potential clue about which apartment they're excavating. The frantic efforts to open up a gap continue by hand. They simply don't have enough mechanical equipment here. Gonzalo is called up to look.
Por favor, grite o haga algún ruido.
A call for silence. But there is no sound of life. And this is what it's like inside. With the risk of aftershocks, this is dangerous work. Gonzalo clings to a veneer of hope. But each time it's raised and dashed, it grows thinner and takes a further toll. Each personal effect is a chance to piece together this tragedy. A set of keys, perhaps offering more insights, but they don't belong to Estrella. Nearby, a makeshift kitchen to sustain this makeshift rescue.
Have you received any help?
They have received help from other countries, but from here they have received anything. They don't have.
And once again, at the end here, it's going to make you sick to your stomach. And if you're sitting there on the prowess of, well, I live in the United States, we'd have some big disaster like this, we'd be covered. No. Being at my age, I've seen multiple huge catastrophes in the United States. And our government F's it up every time. One of the most memorable, because I was involved in the manufactured housing industry, Louisiana. All those houses that were drugged down there and nobody actually got to use them because they were overloaded with high formaldehyde. They sat in fields, rot, and finally, at the end, a backhoe went in there and smashed them all up and put them in dumpsters and took them to the dump. All that money wasted. And still to this day, that place is empty in most parts. Never rebuilt. So don't hang your hat on being in the United States.
Tools, they are screaming to calling their relatives in the building.
The scale of loss is only just becoming clear. The United Nations is sending 10,000 body bags to deal with the growing toll. We find Geraldine Silva watching the search nearby. She lists who's missing.
Leangerlis Merente, de 19 años.
Her 4 daughters, her granddaughter, and her father. 3 generations of one family, all possibly gone.
Mi esposo se vino y me dijo, voy a buscar a las niñas, voy a buscarlas, pero ella no regresó con las niñas. Tengo fe que ellas no están allí. Tengo fe, pero tengo miedo también. Tengo mucho miedo.
Her husband.
Once again, put yourself in their shoes once. This is awful. This is devastating. You just lost your entire family. You're holding out that shoestring of hope. It's somewhere in that building, you know, they still might be. But let's face it, how long can kids last without water and food? How long can an adult hold out in high heat without water and food? Very few would ever make it. You've seen the buildings fall over.
Is up there continuing his defiant search for a miracle, but they work alone and increasingly against the odds. Downrivers News at 10, La Guaira.
I also want to point out the fact, too, that when you got a huge amount of human bodies in hot weather, that starts to get a bit smelly.
Iraq is for us tonight. And Dan, growing anger there at how the help is being distributed.
There really is, Gamal. Yeah, in camps like this and in the rubble of the destroyed homes that you saw in my report, there is a real burning sense of anger, I think, growing, that the government simply hasn't been there when they needed them most. You know, yes, some international aid agencies are here, and you know, slowly the government has swung into action, but it's way too little and too late to save the many hundreds or thousands of people that they think are still trapped in the rubble. And more than that, there are stories actually that some people are telling us of the police actually looting the remains of their homes. There is an attempt here now by the government to try and control the narrative of this. I think there is a widespread and growing mistrust of the death toll, which currently stands at just over 1,700, but I think is likely to soar much, much higher.
You know, and there we go. And we in the United States know this better than anybody. If you have one single dollar, granted this is a $2 bill, and this was a whole nother scam going on, but that's another video. This one bill gets taxed so many times going through the system. It is just absolutely ridiculous. They've got us taxed to the frickin' hilt. And when there is an emergency, and there's a big emergency, where in the hell is all this money? So anyways, you know, you really can't add much more to it than I have. Just, you know, the disgust of humans and our stupidity and our piss poor governments. When something happens, we expect our governments to step in quickly, and you know, in this case right here, there's more help coming from other countries than what their own government is doing. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one, all right?